Today we're going to be talking about seed dispersal. Seed dispersal is one part of the life cycle of a plant. We know that plants start as a seed, a tiny little seed, and then it grows up into a big, beautiful plant, whether that be a tree, a plant, or a flower. Once the plant has grown, it needs to produce seeds of its own. The seeds then need to make sure that they disperse so that the plants are able to continue the life cycle. There are 4 main types of seed dispersal, but in those, there's different ways it can happen. So the first one is wind. The second one is water. The third one is explosion. And the fourth one is animals. All right, get up and find yourself a space because we are going to act out the different types of seed dispersal. So the first one, do you remember, was wind. Super light seeds like dandelions get blown about and fall off their plant because of the wind. So we're going to act out wind. Even though this falls under the category of wind for seed dispersal, because it requires the wind to happen, we actually have some plants that are shakers. This is like a poppy, for example, because what they need is the wind to help shake them to get their seeds falling out onto the ground. So when I say shakers, you need to shake. The second type of seed dispersal, do you remember what it is? Water. Seeds that live by water, such as lilies, coconuts, or palm trees, require water to disperse their seeds. So if I say water, you need to pretend to be water. Okay. The third type is called explosions. Some flowers explode their seeds out, such as peas. Once peas' seeds have grown, they burst open or explode. Another type of seed depends on gravity. This one here is called the drop and roll. Once the seed has grown enough, it uses gravity to fall down, crack open and explode, and then to roll away so that the seed is ready to reproduce somewhere else. And do you remember the fourth type? Animals. There's a few ways that animals assist in seed dispersal. One of them is how plants help us them externally. You picture a little sheep going for a walk. They're really quite woolly, aren't they? If you have plants like sticky weed, where they have hooks or spikes or a sticky at the end, they're going to attach themselves to the sheep. So we call this one catching a ride. So you can pretend that you are catching a ride on a horsey. The other way that animals help us is internally, so on the inside. The birds eat the fruit and the seed. It goes through them. They fly away to somewhere new so the seed is dispersed, and then they scatter it at the other end. So you need to pretend to be eating it. Now that we've gone through the types of seed dispersal, I'm going to say it and you have to act it out. Wind. Shakers. Water. Explosion. Drop and roll. Catching a ride. And animals eating them. Okay, let's see. Can you keep up? Wind. Water. Shakers. Catching a ride. Drop and roll. Animals eating them. Catching a ride. Shakers. Explosion. Water. Shakers. Wind. Catching a ride. Animals eating them. Explosion. Drop and roll. Water. Wind. Water. Wind. Catching a ride. Animals eating them. Water. Explosion. Drop and roll. Explosion. Wind. Water. Drop and roll. Catching a ride. So just as a recap, we've got 4 different types of seed dispersal. We have wind, water, explosion, and animals. Wind helps us in 2 ways. That's with the floating or with the shaking. Then water Then explosion is through the bursting or through gravity with drop and roll. Animals help us externally and internally. Externally with catching a ride and internally with eating them.